Yes, you guys, welcome back. In today's News Daily video, I'm going to break down the 3 biggest stories that have been doing the rounds today. We're going to turn towards Kounde from Sevilla, as reports came out suggesting that we are being linked with an 80 million move to sign him this summer. Next, we discuss Jorginho and his updated future with us. And of course, you guys, we are now being linked with 18-year-old wonderkid Ryan Gravenberch from AJAX'S. So I hope you guys do enjoy. To help support the channel, I'd love if you guys could smash that like button. I'd like to get over 2,000 likes for today's video. And to start with things, we discuss the big report today surrounding Kounde, Jules Kounde from Sevilla. Now, at this point in time, every big team across Europe is strongly after this guy, strongly looking at him. Let's not forget that in the summertime, Man City had a 55 million euro move turned down by Sevilla. Due to that, they then signed Ruben Dias from Benfica, and the reality is that Kounde has a release clause set at 80 million euros. Now, this makes sense considering that Sevilla originally signed him from Bordeaux for 23 million. You know, that's a lot of money for Sevilla to invest in a player. But when it comes to their player recruitment, I feel like Sevilla are easily one of the best. And with how Kounde is spoken about, he's spoken about in the same high regards as Dani Alves, Sergio Ramos, as some of the premier talents to come out from the club. Feels like Kounde is the next one to come from that very prestigious group, you guys. So, of course, reports have been coming out from England and Spain suggesting that we are one of the clubs strongly looking at Kounde as an option this summer. For me, this will be a very hard deal to get done as every big team is looking at him. And you might be thinking, Nini, why is that the case? You know, Kounde is 5'10", you know, don't defenders have to be over 6 foot now with how physical the game is? He's playing in La Liga, a league that's not physically demanding, a league where it doesn't have, you know, tons of 6 foot plus players, you know, constantly looking to, you know, win balls aggressively and get, you know, tight to their man. Very fair questions, but the reason why Kounde is seen in such a highlight is how he plays the game. Now, let's discuss his physicality. 5'10", yeah, small. However, Kounde has a very Zuma-like leap in the air. This guy's constantly winning aerial duels left, right and center, about 3.4, 3.5 a game. That says a lot. And for me, I look at historic players like your Fabio Cannavaro's. I mean, this guy was never one of the tallest, but defending is more than just, you know, being strong enough to win your 50-50. There's a lot more that goes into the game. It's how you use your body. It's how you master the art of using your body. You know, I look at Kounde, he has that intelligence behind his game. But irrespective of how he uses his body, it's the technique that he brings up in the back. You know, the stats are showing that he's one of the best ball-playing defenders right now in Europe. I mean, progressive passes for fun, passes into the final third, you know, with how football these days is so systematic, where, you know, individual ability isn't really seen as much these days because the system is prioritized more. You know, it does mean that you need a different type of player now to really just elevate that style of football even more. And I guess now that's why big teams really want to have defenders at the back that can play. You know, for me, Kounde is a cross between like a midfield player. Let's say this was football like, I don't know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. He'd probably be a DM. You know, I'm looking at Javier Mascherano as an example, and he was able to make his name at Barcelona, and, you know, Pep was doing a lot of very ambitious things with that Barca team, essentially having midfield players playing at the back, which makes a lot of sense, you know, when you're in a big team playing against opposition that want to park the bus and just, you know, hold out their defensive positions. You want to have the guys at the back that can play more football, that can offer more, because they're unmarked effectively. So it makes a ton of sense why we be looking at Kounde. Of course, though, it brings up some interesting questions. Number one, he plays down the right-hand side, and for me, I feel like all our defenders we have right now all play best down the right-hand side. Don't we need that bit of balance for the left? Who knows, but there could be a possibility that we look to sell a defender first to make room for him. Who knows, that could happen. Still, if he was signed, what does this say for Marc Guéhi? Now, reports have been coming out suggesting that Southampton are looking to sign him on loan or even possibly sign him outright in the following summer window. And Southampton, for me, are a club that play football the right way. I think this would be a great introduction to Premier League football for Guéhi. I feel like that could be that middling club that you need to be able to afford to make certain mistakes in game where you have the confidence of the coach behind you that you are going to get the game time to, improve and gain that experience. I look at Guy and I feel like he has a lot of the abilities that, if we just had the confidence and faith and actually introduce him to the team for next season, we would definitely reap the rewards. We can't have guys like Tamori, guys like Guy, and many excellent teenage ones as well, like Mbiyamba and of course Kounde. Our defense is future-proof if we actually look to use them and incorporate them. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I think this is an interesting story. Right now, we don't know if Rudiger will decide to stay or leave. I mean, that's very 50-50 at this point in time. He's not destined to stay right now. And after the Euros, he could decide he wants out after how he was treated at the club. Guys like Kurt Zouma, for example, Silva, we know will only be here for one more season. I think defense is going to be a very interesting area. Do we spend that 80 million on Kounde? I mean, as I'm saying, you guys, with how the game is evolving, we are kind of future-proofing that area, but that's only my opinions. In the comments, give yours. Would you like to see us signing Jules Kounde? And now we move on to the second story. And of course, for me, this is a story that I'm excited to discuss. It's in regards to Ryan Gravenberch, the 18-year-old wonder kid. And I know sometimes I say wonder kids in these videos. A lot of times, you guys, you've just got to say it for the algorithm and just so people can click on the video. But when I say wonder kid this time, honestly, I mean it. Gravenberch, as you guys I'm sure know, you know that he's had a rep throughout youth football now for many a year, and now he's finally getting his first proper full season at Ajax. And this season, he's really showing why he could be one of the premier midfield talents in the world in a few years, you guys. For me, Gravenberch is a very exciting talent. As reports are suggesting, we are looking and monitoring the player. And what makes the story very interesting is that naturally when there's top quality youth talent, expect Mina Raiola to probably be their agent. And makes even more sense now why we look to rebuild and amend our relationship with Raiola, considering that he has some of the, or probably all the best young talents as his clients. So very smart move to put our ego to the side to just make things smooth, you guys. I mean, this game is all about business. Ryan's contract does expire in 2023, and reports are suggesting that he has a valuation set at around 35 million euros. However, Ajax would prefer to sell for a bit more money, so let's see what happens with the story. But you might be wondering now, okay, Gravenberch, I've heard of him, but who exactly is he? What's his profile like? Well, he's a tall guy, 6'2". He's able to play in the pivot and in a midfield three as well. And for me, I don't know, I kind of see him as like a Billy Gilmour type of player, to be honest. He's got a bit of the cover in him. Very exceptional in the tight areas, very skillful. He knows how to play out. He's always a step ahead of the game. He's someone that analyzes the space first before he receives, and I think that's why he can play at a quick tempo. A very good progressive passer. I mean, this guy's constantly finding his guys in the final third, playing those passes in the final third. You look at our strikers, you look at our attacking players, and you feel at times that they don't get that proper service they need so many times. And I think with Gravenberch, that's a guy that could provide a solution to issues like that. Part of me also feels, okay, could he be like a long-term replacement to cover? He can be worked upon more. I mean, of course, he's only 18, not even 19 yet, and naturally, he can be a lot better in the defensive phase. I think when it comes to stuff like that, though, it's fully dependent on the coach you have, because it's up to them to instill that defensive belief in the player. But you look at Ryan, and he has the progressive carries. He's someone that looks to play passes between the lines, line-breaking passes left, right, and center. And what I like, too, is that he's someone that has a good long shot. He looks to take shots from outside the box. Of course, you have more space playing in the Dutch league, but when you look at young players, you have to think about their potential in the future. And, aspects in this game like this can only be developed more and get stronger and stronger. Now, of course, naturally, we have to discuss what his potential signing could mean, considering that guys like Gilmour and Angerin, for all the talent they have, the talent they've shown consistently, aren't getting any opportunities. Would this be fair on them? I look at Gravenberch and a part of me feels like, okay, he's like a 6'2", stronger version of Gilmour that has maybe a bit more attacking threat. Maybe Gilmour prefers to be, a lot more, move the ball a lot more than actually carrying it. But I think with Gravenberch, he would provide that great balance between those two styles. It's an interesting one. Very interesting. I don't know. On that note, we now end things with the final story today, and let's discuss the latest news surrounding Jorginho's future. Now, this Jorginho story, you know, it keeps constantly shifting and adapting and evolving non-stop. So many contradictory stories being released left, right, and center. You know, we already heard from his agent suggesting that Jorginho is kind of set on a move to Napoli, and now we've heard from Jorginho himself that, you know, he's more willing to stay at the club. Now, today we have even more updated news surrounding his potential future, and to be honest, I do feel like there is this overarching context that binds all these stories together. So let's see what Jorginho's agent had to say this time. As his agent states, Jorginho would like to come back to Italy, and there is a desire to play in Serie A. If Napoli should need Jorginho, then it could happen. He still has 2 years left on his contract at Chelsea. As things stand today, his price tag is 50 million euros, and he has quite high wages in London. It's unlikely that De Laurentiis would spend so much. Besides, in my view, Marina and Chelsea would offer him a contract renewal over the next few months. So this was quite revealing. Of course, for me, the big information was the valuation that his agent said, you know, 50 million euros. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. He has 2 years left in his current contract. He's an Italian international player as well. He has found his form back again playing under Thomas Tuchel, and right now his stock is at an all-time high. So this feels like a very realistic valuation, and the fact that his agent has publicly made that knowledge right now, I don't know, you guys, it kind of says to me that there is a plan here, and it's about biding their time to see what happens. You know, it makes no sense to publicly say that, okay, I want to leave the club and go back to Italy, especially when the number one key thing is for Maurizio Sarri to return back to Napoli. Of course, that needs to happen because for Jorginho's style, his game, how he likes to play the game, it was really maximized playing under Sarri. So until Sarri is confirmed as the new manager, you know, it makes a lot of sense to not be so headstrong and discuss your future so publicly. Now, realistically, I'd assume that we still owe Napoli some money for the signing of Jorginho to begin with. So, on a hypothetical one, if Jorginho did find himself back at Napoli, maybe he does get sold for a lesser fee. I wouldn't be surprised by that. On top of this, you guys, Jorginho has interest from both Inter Milan and from AC Milan, and as I'm saying, with the stock being at an all-time high, and considering that we are showing interest in players from those respective clubs as well, I don't know, I feel like if Jorginho does leave, there could be some, you know, very positive aftermaths to come from the sale. But, you know, regardless though, I think he's a decent player. I do think that what him and his agent have said previously though about how, you know, how future-proof would his future be if he stayed with us, considering that we want to go back in the market to sign midfield players to help bolster the team. We've seen that Jorginho has been in and out of the team, and it's only now that we're using the back three system that, you know, he's finding that light again. But I don't know, it feels like for me he's still destined to leave. And you guys in the comments below, do you want Jorginho to stay, or do you feel like it's time for him to leave with the team? And on that note, you guys, that's going to be the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm the EFC, this is Blue Lines TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Peace.